It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theater, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, hey.
And the man who was rumored at one point to be the next James Bond. It's the Murman. Hey there, Murray.
How's it going?
Good. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Oh, we got some changes this week, people. Thanks to all who've been listening to us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and the growing Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. All members get a special episode and content only for members, and all members that sign up will get a special limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible, terrible movie. Shout out to our biggest listening province in Canada, Alberta, followed closely by Nova Scotia. But wait, for the month of July, our biggest listening state is the state so great they named it twice. New York, New York.
No kidding.
So what do we cheer for New York? Go Rangers? Go Islanders?
Anybody but the Yankees.
Go Yankees?
No.
How about go Statue of Liberty?
What about Knickerbockers?
And
That's
Knickerbockers.
That's fun to say.
Yeah, and Knickerbockers, because you doesn't like to say Knickerbockers.
Movies are back at Canyon Meadow Cinemas. We are open for your viewing pleasure with great new films opening weekly. All health-regulated protocols are in effect for a safe and enjoyable experience. And don't forget, we should be your first choice for your next birthday party or special event. Can't make it to the cinema? We got you covered. Order concessions from our online store, and you can either choose curbside pickup or get them delivered via Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. For more details, go to canyonmeadowscinema.ca. Here at CMC, we would like to thank you for your continued support. And we are looking forward to seeing you at the movies.
We're streaming. And what?
We're streaming, Jim. All right. I was kind of under the impression that Jim was actually going to lead this one, and I was ready to, because we kind of talked about it earlier, so I was ready for him to just say his thing and then me to go, yeah, ditto. But apparently,
I get to say ditto today.
Exactly.
I can do it if you want to.
You say whatever you're going to say. I have a feeling that I'm going to have a very similar feeling about this movie as you did. The movie we're speaking of is streaming on Apple Plus as we speak.
Right now.
It is named Fathom from this year, which is 2021. Fathom is a doc that follows the efforts of Dr. Michelle Fournette and Dr. Ellen Garland as they try to decode oral communication between humpback whales. Disappointingly to me, this was more about the researchers than the actual research. I felt as if there was a little bait and switch involved here, as I thought I was going to watch a doc about whales, but instead I got a doc about the lives, or lack thereof, due to the focus of their jobs of researchers. You could feel their passion for the work they were doing throughout, but I was left feeling somewhat uninspired by the whole effort. If you're super into watching a film about the people that do research and their fairly mundane lives, then this is the doc for you. Still, eventually they got to the whales, and that part of the doc was good, but that was a small percentage of the movie. I cannot fathom why the focus was where it was for this film. But it still had some interesting bits, which made it, I wish I learned more than I did. Meh.
Ditto.
Yeah.
So I apologize because I probably should have done. We did talk about it, but sometimes I get in my own headspace. So the content that this film is about in this doc is so very, 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 very fascinating. I am a huge believer in the intelligence and the value whales have in our world and in our society. This doc gives you a ton of information, and these doctors studying their field in the communication with these whales is something at a leading edge of communication that I wanted to see so badly and learned more about how it was working. The issue is the doc is not that great. There is a lot of data and sciencey type stuff and some whale tones and sounds, which were kind of cool, and playful banter of the interaction of our heroines, but it got really dry and boring really fast. I was expecting to see more interaction with whales and saw way too much interaction with the doctors doing research, which is kind of exactly what Bryce said. I wish it was what I was hoping it would be. And I also could not fathom why this movie wasn't called Research About Whales. It was a meh.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's such a cool idea.
If that was a film you wanted to make, I guess cool, but
yeah,
man,
it's such a cool concept though. Like it's the idea of these women producing sounds that they can communicate with whales is the most exciting thing I've ever heard in my life. It's just too bad the documentary wasn't as exciting as what they showed us. So
yeah.
Oh, well, maybe someday you and I will get to talk to whales.
Maybe. Not out of the realm of possibilities.
It's definitely not.
I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, maybe. So we saw on Prime breaking news in Yuba County, and I have a feeling this movie could be a little polarizing. I could just read the IMDb about it, but it's really about the fantastic, and when I say fantastic, I mean mesmerizing Allison Janney and how weird and fucked up she is. There's my breakdown of that movie. So let me talk about what I'm reviewing of this movie. This movie is so fucked up and literally has every single person in the planet in this movie. They have so many people in this movie that when you watch it, you'll go like, "Oh wow, I love that person. Oh wow, I love that person. Oh wow, I love that person." I mean, just to let us off a few. We have the mesmerizing Allison Janney. We have Mila Kunis. We have Regina Hall. We have Awkwafina. We have Wanda Sykes. We have Ellen Barkin. We have Matthew Modine. We have Juliette Lewis. We have Samira Wiley, who is... I'll talk more about Samira Wiley in a minute. There's just so many great actors in this film. It's mind-bending. I don't even know where to start about this movie. It's a self-development comedy gangster flick that is way over the top at times and not really grounded in much of actual reality at any time during the film. Allison Janney plays yet another character that I've never seen her play. This was such a different role for her. Does she have any limitations, I ask you? Does she? No, she has none. Allison Janney is a goddess of the film and screen. She blows my mind. I don't get it. Yes. And then yes, she was. It was such a weird role for her. It was so quirky and weird. I've never seen her play a role like this. And then motherfucking Wanda Sykes, like, it's just Wanda Sykes. She's in the movie. So, it's going to be awesome. And in this, she's completely hilarious. Just so everyone's clear, yes, this film does have an LGBTQ character. And yes, it is Wanda. who's actually playing that character. And just so everyone's also clear, this makes this a very kudos for the producers of this film. They have so much representation everywhere in this film, mostly because there's like 100 people that are acting in it. And it's the way a film should be made. There should be proper representation, including all cultures, races.
I'm not sure everybody needs to be in a movie, and like
It's
everybody's in this movie.
well, let me get to that later. We can debate that in a minute. But the fact that they have all these characters and they have very good representation of all of the BIPOC culture, as well as with an LGBTQ character. So, plus Regina Hall playing a straight man/woman character, where she's usually playing the comedic sidekick. So again, that was another surprise. Lastly, as far as actors go, Samira Wiley, no matter what she's in, I want to see it. I think she is so brilliant, and she blows my mind every time she's on screen. And actually, she stole every scene that she was with, so it was a good thing she wasn't up against Janney in many scenes. I'm only sad that her part wasn't that big. Allison, Janney's character is so weird and wonderful. Well, actually, all the characters were quirky, funny representations of real people. I really had no idea it was going to happen in this entire movie, all the way through it, which is nothing like every other film we've seen lately, which is pretty much a sequel, and we could pretty much predict everything that was going to happen. I found this was weird and wonderful, offbeat and zany, unpredictable characters, crazy characters, not just characters. Film surprise. I love the fact I did not know what was going to happen, and I loved all the weird characters that they put in this movie, piled up in a giant heap of quirky humor. This film made me smile at the same time as make me shake my head. It was still a mondo for me. I love this movie.
What?
Yeah.
You loved this movie.
I absolutely love this movie. It was weird. It was over the top. It was unpredictable. I knew nothing was going to happen. Okay, like, as you're watching the movie, did you think as many characters die was going to be how many people died in this movie? And how they were going to die? Every single one was a surprise. I was like, what? They killed that person? What? That person? And that's how that person died? It was just so weird. I loved it. I don't even know how this got made, because it was so different. I just really liked it.
Breaking news in Yuba County had the potential to be great, with a cast that included the mesmerizing Allison Janney, the always amusing Awkwafina. But put him in any role and he will deliver, Jimmy Simpson, the best supporting actor in any movie he is in, including this one, Clifton Collins Jr., the laugh out loud, hilarious, and should be on the mesmerized list, Murray, Wanda Sykes. Plus, it had Mila Kunis and Matthew Modine and Alan Barkin and Regina Hall and Keong Sim, et cetera, as you were mentioning. Notice I didn't mention Juliette Lewis because she's just awful in everything.
I love her in everything.
So how did this fantastic cast with a fairly decent concept for a movie make something that was so blah? The film lacks direction. There are scenes that are very good, but there is no cohesiveness between any of them. The actors did their part, as all of them did the best they could with the material they were given. Overall, this was just disappointing, as I was expecting so much more from this project that was overflowing with potential. Still, I got to see Wanda Sykes and Clifton Collins Jr. do their thing, so it was not a complete waste of time. This was a case where the actors saved the weak writing. This was a meh.
Well, that's too bad for you, because I was enjoying it quite a bit. I think there was some holes in it? Yes, 100%. Some? Yes, some. I thought what I loved about this movie was I had no clue what was going to happen. Nothing. As I was watching it, I kept going like, where's the story going to go? And I didn't know. And so everything was a surprise. And every time something happened, I was like, okay, that was weird, but I'm kind of glad it happened. I liked it. I liked everything about it.
All right.
Except for a few little things, but I was still smiling and laughing all the way through it. I just thought whenever Awkwafina would come into to a scene. I was laughing.
Loved Awkwafina.
Yeah.
Loved Clifton Collins Jr.
Yep.
Loved Wanda Sykes. They were fantastic. I thought Allison Janney was flat as a pancake in this one.
I thought it was.
If any of the she
well,
was
the
totally
reason
flat.
I think she was playing that character. Like, this is what I'm saying is that
I saw her play the character, and I don't know.
The character itself was flat. The character had no personality. So it was it was really tough for her to put. It was really tough for her. Like, this is what is so incredible about her, is that she plays a character that's completely flat in a personality where she's over the top all the time. That's what I thought was so brilliant.
All the time,
but she's definitely mesmerizing every time. Like, for her to play this role was a huge stretch. Huge stretch for her. Huge stretch for her. I think this was probably one of her hardest roles she's ever played, because it was such a bland person she was playing.
This was a mess of a movie.
It was a beautiful, tasty, delicious, surprising mondo of a mess of a movie.
If it wasn't for the really good performances by a few key actors in this would have been a total rage, but I couldn't, because I still enjoyed watching Wanda Sykes. I still enjoyed watching Jimmy Simpson do his thing. Clifton Collins Jr., I can't look away when that guy's on the screen. He's always fantastic.
Yeah. They were. But the murders, the deaths, were you surprised by any of them, or you were just kind of like, oh yeah, that, like, you could not have expected what was happening in the movie?
Just because I couldn't expect what was happening doesn't make it good, Jim.
Yeah, it does. It does, because
I don't know how
they pieced it together. I thought.
What are you talking about? Did they piece things together? Did it make sense?
Yeah, it made complete sense. I mean, the plot really wasn't that complex.
There was just too many.
It was just layers of people, layers. Piles of people.
Anyway,
which was okay by me.
It was exhausting watching it, and it's exhausting talking about it. So let's move on.
Wait, I do have a favorite line though.
Okay, let's hear your favorite line.
I'd have grabbed him by the baby dick and shot him up his piss hole.
Okay, maybe it's not good.
That was good.
All right. So from there, I'm actually interested to hear what you think of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even sure what I thought of it for a little bit, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I think I do know what I think about it, and I'm about to tell you. I am talking about a movie called Enforcement, but it's also called Shorta. But in North America, you're going to find it as Enforcement in most places. It is on VOD. This Danish police drama is the story of two cops as they try to escape the ghetto of Svalgarden. I put an N in there. Svalgarden during a race. During a race riot that they were the catalyst for. It is a well-acted character study, and as the film plays out, we get to know the three main subjects and see the development, both good and bad, as they deal with the tense situation that surrounds them. My opinion of every character shifts during the course of this film. Jess, who seems as though he is a righteous and good cop, may not be exactly what we thought, and the absolutely deplorable Mike may not be quite as bad as initially presented. We see the best and worst of these characters as the intense pressure of their situation explodes around them. The filmmakers do a very good job of injecting every scene with tension, and once the riot starts, there are no wasted shots. You're right in the middle of it with Jens and Mike, along with their detainee, Amos. There are a lot of scenes in this film that are hard to watch, and in the end, nobody wins. Nobody wins in this, and that is sometimes the case. It's just the way it goes sometimes in life. There are good people and there are bad people, and then there are Jens and Mike who are a little bit of both. The fact that I was engaged throughout, that I was invested in every character for different reasons, and that the tension of every scene was palpable made this movie mondo.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I can see why. Let me tell you what I thought of the film, and we can talk about it after. The racial tension between the cops and the Muslim community in this film is very present right from scene one. Super Cop Mike is wound up super tight as tensions are raised. From scene 1, where a George Floyd-like scene, even saying "I can't breathe," starts the film and throws a veil of racial unrest between the quote-unquote brown community and the police, or Shorta, as they're called in the Arabic words, I believe. The Super Cop Mike just doesn't make it easier as he moves through the day that is this film. But when the aforementioned George Floyd character dies, the shit really hits the fan. This film has a real gritty, almost documentary feel to it. So there is so much realism and tension as the film unfolds. This film does not hide from the hard discussion of racism. It embraces it to get to the core of its effects. It's a global topic taking place all over the world right now, and it shows the hatred on all sides. It has the good, the bad, and the ugly of what this racial divide has to offer. And when I say the good, I mean the people on both sides of this racial war and how kindness can prevail in these times. I really, really loved the way the film was unfolding, but the ending for me was a little too coincidental in a couple of ways. For example, tying the kid's death to the partner and Super Mike becoming super good and the kid's mother finding him, etc., etc. There was a few too many coincidental things for me as I'm watching this film that kind of sat with me and it kind of bothered me. I really, really did enjoy this film. I found as we neared the end, the tie-ins became just that much more too coincidental. The film was really good portrait of one night on Earth for two cops in an area of town in the midst of a violent race riot. But the conveniences for me were a little too frequent to fully love the entire film. Gets a high meh, but I did like the story. I liked all the acting was stellar, and the direction and writing were also done super well for the most part. But I just couldn't get past some of those coincidences. I think, they're in a space that covers, quite a few blocks, and it's just happenstance that a couple of these things just happened to happen. So it kind of threw me off the game a bit.
I can totally understand that. I gave a pass to every one of them except for one. And in the end, that was the one that was going to tip me back to meh, but I enjoyed it so much that I forgave it. And that was, as you mentioned,
the kid getting shot. Oh.
That one's fine. I could get a pass on that. The fact that Mike ends up being taken in by the kid's mother.
Yeah.
It was like, really? Like when he looked at the pictures on the wall, I was like, oh, this was like a perfect film until that for me. And I know, and there were some other things that I didn't mind as much as you minded. I was like, yeah, whatever. That almost wrecked it for me, but in the end, the performances were so good.
It was so
everybody
good.
was good in this, and
this is a movie,
and it's a movie that just kind of tells it like it is. It's not taking any sides whatsoever. It's showing bad on every single side. It's showing good on every single side. You watch this movie and you get everybody. You're like, you know what? I understand why he's doing that. Yeah. I may not agree with it, but I get it now. I get this guy's point of view. I get that. And they did a good job of just presenting the whole thing. Yeah. And in the end, I'm a little confused because I get everybody in this.
Yeah, like you can kind of understand why there is riots, right? Like you get that. And it's such a topical film. I think everybody should see this film. Perhaps other people won't be as judgmental of it as me. I couldn't get past too many coincidences. I think they could have. I'm not going to argue with you about that at all because you're absolutely right. There were some, and they did bother me a little, but in the end, I'm like, and how I can just slam something. Oh, I know. Usually it's you that's
so you gotta figure the rest of this was so good that I'm giving it a pass on those things.
Yep.
Because the rest of it was so good.
It was like I really do think people should see this film.
Yeah.
Like it's a must see for anybody that's interested in discovering, perhaps the temperature of what's going on with the racial unrest in Europe. Because, this is a Danish film, right? So.
Yep. All right. Where are we going from here, Jim?
Where did we see that? We saw that on VOD, right? Okay,
Saw
so
that on VOD.
from there we went and saw, thanks to Bryce, or should I say, thanks Bryce, we got to see a movie
Have to
called.
review it, man.
We got to see a movie called The Tomorrow War, and I'm not going to tell anybody about it because this is really the only biggest movie that's out this week. It's got a bigger budget than the film we saw in theaters.
#1 streaming movie in the world.
Yeah, #1 streaming movie that cost $200 million to make. And we're talking about The Tomorrow War, which we saw on Prime. So, did the writer and director of this film see Edge of Tomorrow and then say, what if we rewrote it and instead of all that confusing back and forth through time stuff, just go back and forth in time a couple of times and make it more linear storyline? Well, that's what I think happened when they decided to make this movie. Except they took a movie that was really good and they made this movie. So, first off, I'm not sure why the first scene was even there. It was completely dumb. Super annoyed about the CLF, who's like a 6 or a 7-year-old who happens to be smarter than most doctors, which made no sense. The concept of this cool sci-fi film, but has been done at least a few times already. It was not a surprise in any way, shape, or form. But there's a lot in this film that is not essential to this movie. They spent way too much time with the family. We get it. You love each other. Let's move on. This movie was over 2 hours long. Everything seemed drawn out, and at times almost like we are in a role-playing game. The monsters were scary and cool. I actually really thought the monsters did a really good job. And it seemed like they could take care of business, if you know what I'm saying, as far as monsters go, which they did most of the time. But again, consistency in who kills them quickly and who doesn't kind of makes it annoying at times. Sometimes they die with one shot. Sometimes it takes 1,000 rounds before they go down. This sci-fi action flick has all the predictable blockbuster trope lines, endless bullets, comedy sidekicks, hero music with Michael Bay-like CGI-ness, teammate sacrifices and bombings and explosion jumps. So basically all the things you want to see in a cinema. But we did not get to see this in the we didn't get to see this in the comfort of the theater. We got to see this in the comfort of our home. Thanks, Prime. This would have been even better and I say even better, if we got to see it in cinemas. I'm just saying.
Yes.
This carries a lot of the same problems Army of the Dead did have, which was way too much chatty interactions, where I'm assuming the director thinks it's developing characters, but it's really just filling empty space. There is just way too many of them. This film is 2 hours and 18 minutes and could have been at least 30 minutes less. Not much of a fan of this Independence type rewrite of a film. I didn't hate it, like super hate it, really. I was just pretty much neutral through the entire film, going from one predictable scene to another. I did like seeing Chris Pratt not playing the comedy relief charade where he's usually pigeon-holed, sort of like Ryan Reynolds has become. So it was good to see him play, I guess, a bit of a serious role. This film was too long, too predictable, not even close to as good as Live, Die, Repeat. And it barely, and I'm saying barely, gets a meh. And that's mostly because the monsters were pretty cool.
Big budget, lots to look at, lots of explosions and noise. That was The Tomorrow War. So if this is the movie you made, to your point, why on earth would you release it exclusively on Prime when its only shot at being entertaining at all is if it was projected on a giant screen at the movie theater, where you could be in awe of the spectacle, which is all it is? The film fell flat as an all-flash with little substance sci-fi romp. It could not succeed without being on a big screen at your local cinema. And did I mention this movie needed to be released at the theaters, not on Prime?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to be clear there. Because I don't, you talked enough about the movie. I'm not going to waste everybody's time. This was a rage that could have been a on the big screen maybe not. It still might have been a rage.
You know, I completely understand why you gave it a rage. I was pretty close to there, but I really did like the monsters. I thought the monsters were pretty cool, and I kind of liked some of the concept of what's his nuts, like just some of the things like how they brought in the future people into the soccer game. That was kind of done well. There was a couple of parts that were good. I completely understand why. I mean, I'm not going to debate you. It was very close to being a rage for me as well. But
It's like, and releasing it on Prime, not in the theaters, is just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I don't get that. They could have done like Apple does, right? I mean, Apple's releasing Black Widow, and then at the same time, it's going to be on Apple or whatever.
That would be Disney.
It's some kind of plus. It's a plus thing. It's a plus thing.
Yeah,
They all suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my take on it. Amazon sucks.
There we go.
I will never watch anything on their crappy channel. This movie should have been in the theater. Then I could have actually gone to see it.
There you go. Well, maybe someday it will, and it'll come.
But then it's too late. You guys already trashed it for me, so what's the point of seeing it now?
Well, have any favorite lines or anything, Jim, or can we move on?
No, there was really no favorite lines in it, which was kind of unfortunate.
Because monsters don't talk.
That's right. All right, Murray's back to being awake.
Yeah, he's still here. And yes, I actually went to a movie because these guys made me.
Yes.
It was called The Forever Purge. This is the, I don't know, upteenth sequel to the original. And I haven't actually seen them all. The basic plot is all the rules are broken as a bunch of lawless marauders decide that the annual purge does not stop at daybreak. It should never end. So basically just kill all foreigners all the time. I feel like this is what America will be like after 4 more years of Trump. If he had actually won the election, they would have been this bad. They would have just gone to shooting like foreigners in the streets, and he would have okayed everything. That it's scary, but that's where they were headed if he'd actually won. So yeah, it was kind of terrifyingly, this might actually happen. And the fact that Mexico and Canada actually like opened the borders, I don't think I would have done that in real life. It's like, screw you, you're not coming to our country.
Well,
yeah, it was.
Yeah, you would have, Murray. Come on.
I don't know.
They're there for us. We're there for them.
I don't know. I actually enjoyed this more than I thought I would, because I didn't really like the other ones. I saw like 2 of the other ones, and I thought they were all kind of dumb. But yeah, there were a lot of women kicking ass in this one, so that was kind of cool. I just have one thing to say about Josh Lucas. Is he only capable of playing assholes?
That's his thing, man.
Even when he's a good guy, you don't like him. Like the start of the movie, he's like, "I don't like you. You're Mexican. I don't like you. And like you were late. I'm gonna fire you." Like, then all of a sudden they're buddy when they're getting shot at. And I'm like, whatever.
They were never really buddy.
He's still an asshole. Every movie I've ever seen him in, he's been an asshole. It's like I just can't like the guy.
He did have his big speech.
Maybe that's his actual personality. Maybe he's incapable of being a nice guy in real life.
It actually isn't. He's actually a really nice guy.
I don't know. He plays an asshole very well then. I was disappointed with the one actor I did like who died pretty early on, and that was a dude from Armageddon. I kind of liked him.
Will Patton?
Yeah, he's been in a few things.
He's awesome.
He's actually on a list, Murray.
Well, whatever.
If you ever visited our website, you'd know that.
I do, but I don't think about stalking your guys' list because I don't agree with a lot of it. Yeah, this was a meh for me. It was okay. And again, I wouldn't have streamed this movie. Seeing the theater was awesome. And the fact that as of July 1st, we no longer have any mask restrictions here. I was able to see my first maskless movie in like over a year.
Nice.
Which I really enjoyed. And there was actually quite a big crowd for it too, because it was a Tuesday night.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, it was good. It was okay.
It was a man.
So it's a man.
All right, Bracey. Let us have it.
More sequels at the cinemas. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.
This week's retread is the Forever Purge. And how does it differ from the others in the franchise? Well, they moved it out of the city and into a small town in Texas, close to the Mexican border. That's different, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
This time, they're trying to escape from the United States. That's different, and I guess that's kind of clever-ish. I don't know. But other than that, it is what you'd expect with similar action sequences that we have come to expect from every film in the series. A few things set it apart, as the actors involved were elevating the material in this one. Will Patton, Ana de la Reguera, Tenoch Huerta, and Josh Lucas were all at a level that was much higher than the material they were performing. I would like to pause for a moment, as by all accounts, Josh Lucas is a nice guy in real life. But I'm not sure there is someone out there who plays unlikable characters as well as Lucas does. I hate this guy on screen in most of his roles, and I'm pretty sure that's a compliment.
It is.
Anyhow, back to the film. The change in scenery was a breath of fresh air for the series, as we got a slightly different look into the Purge with characters with slightly different motivations. Unfortunately, the initial spin on the franchise gave way to slipping back into a typical Purge movie as soon as they leave the ranch. I guess that is not the worst thing, but the beginning bit of originality got squashed by the Purge machine, as we get scenes that seem a little too familiar, as they are just rehashes of former Purge movies. What can I say? It was a Purge movie. They all have many things in common, not the least of which is they are all meh.
Okay, so we knew it had to happen eventually. Yes, all these stupid previous purges were all leading up to what is the Forever Purge. It's got everything you ever wanted from the previous purges. It's an apocalypse film, a Saw film, a Purge film, reality TV series, plus a very small taste of Black Hawk Down meets Mad Max and a spaghetti western. But most of all, it has predictable, elevating violence, some kind of message for First Nations, and that all cultures are equal. This has way too much. It's trying to sell us all at the same time. The whole journey for our, shall we say, lack of a better word, heroes gets sillier and less predictable as we continue through this ever-changing Purge world. Through the journey, there does not seem to be much sense to it other than the simple plot, which appears to be judging a bit of what is happening in parts of the US right now, maybe, with evil racism is bad and evil, and everyone else is good and not evil. It's way easier to keep it simple in these kind of movies, I find. The pluses in this is that there is a consistent escalation and nonstop fighting and action. Plus, it's got ladies who kick ass and punch dicks all the way through it. There is a great representation of culture in this film, but still no one from the LGBTQ community, I'm just pointing it out. If you're trying to make a point, make the whole point. That's all I'm saying. The minuses are that the ending is super predictable and annoying, that a community of Aboriginals is 3 people. What? That made no sense.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. They're at the border. There's like 3 Native Americans.
Let's go to our town.
Against like an army of 50 rednecks. I'm like, if it was my tribe, I'd have like 50 soldiers there with their crossbows and stuff. I mean, there's no way in hell.
Well,
there weren't too many more. There was only like a couple guys.
There wasn't anybody. They got there and there was nobody.
Exactly.
Basically nobody. I don't know.
Yeah, it was an open border. You can just walk across. Like they weren't guarding it very well. It's
no,
like,
but I'm just saying there wasn't very many. Like they're saying, the guy was talking about it being a town,
and it's their land.
There wasn't a town of Aboriginals. There was
but it was their land. I mean, they should be there, but whatever.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, Murray, is that there wasn't There
Well, that's
wasn't
what I mean.
a town.
I'm
there was
agreeing.
like 10. There's like 10
Yeah.
people. What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the ending was bad, and it started to annoy me as we got closer and closer to the end. I'd say the first half of the film I really liked, and the second half was awful. So good half minus terrible half equals meh film.
That's true.
There's a couple things I want to unpack though. The 10 people that never diminished, the 10 bad guys that were chasing them down.
Uh-huh.
It came out, you could literally count them coming out of their cars. There was about 10 people. And then every time someone got shot, there was still 10 people. It's just like, okay, it's just,
They seem to have reinforcements.
it's like you kill one and they become a zombie. Was that what I was supposed to assume? There was
some are late to the dance.
From where? There was no more trucks. They were just people walking around.
When they shoot a film, Jim, you don't see all the way around. They were off screen. I don't know what your problem is.
So the extras just off screen waiting to come on for their scene.
No.
They weren't waiting. They were just doing whatever they were doing. And
and then they pulled up
they ended up wandering into the scene.
They pulled into a car that they weren't following because they didn't know where the other people were going.
You don't know what was coming from the other direction.
Okay, thanks, tips. Yeah, no, that made no sense. It just kept getting worse as the movie kept going.
I agree.
If it would have gone another 10 minutes, this would have been a rage.
Yeah, probably.
No, I agree. First half was good. Last half was bad. That's kind of how I saw it.
And it was too long. Cut a half hour out of it would have been better. Or at least 20 minutes.
I think it was only... Was it?
It was like an hour and 45.
Was it an hour 45?
Oh, yeah. Like make like a 90-minute movie, and there you go.
It felt longer.
Felt longer. I actually went to the bathroom twice, and I missed it.
Attaboy. Yeah.
In your life?
No, during the movie.
Oh.
I usually hold it, but it's like, nothing's happening. I'll just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was probably a good movie to go to the bathroom in a couple of times. I kind of wish I did now.
I did, but I never left the theater.
Attaboy. That depends on what you're talking about.
Depends. Yes, it depends. Yeah.
Suppose it does.
Yeah, that was a triple.
So, you know what that means, don't you?
He's just sitting there. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know nothing. Nice. I got that off my chest.
It's like a waist been lifted.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Okay. We kind of already talked a little bit about this, so it's just going to be a little bit of a reminder. But actually, my bigger problem, other than us not getting to see the Forever War or something,
Tomorrow.
What was it called? Tomorrow War, the Forever's War of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow War goes on forever.
Yeah, is that like what is wrong with sci-fi flicks lately? Like, this is just a portion of my rage. I have a double rage. You're getting double dose today. What is the deal with sci-fi movies? Like, it's like now we have... God, it just annoys me that we have kind of like one plot, which is aliens are trying to invade us. And they all kind of have the same plot. It's just annoying me. I wanted that movie to be so good.
So you want the aliens to come down and like open a restaurant?
Yeah, what's wrong with that movie? That sounds like a really good movie.
Like Men in Black 4.
Yeah, but except for it's just a movie with aliens serving taquitos.
No, a lot of the aliens in the Men in Black movies were just living their lives. They weren't hurting anybody.
Like that. Like Men in Black movies, but only a good movie, not Men in Black series. Yeah, like that. That's what I want. There's so many great science fiction stories written, and they just keep rehashing these stupid ideas that keep coming back from other movies. It's just annoying as hell. It makes me angry. And then on top of that, Amazon happens to spend $200 million on a movie that's not even going to be played in theaters. That's my rage.
I hope they lose money on it.
Well, they don't because they're Amazon. They make
No,
billions
but
of dollars.
I hope that the movie is so bad that nobody watches it.
Well, everybody
my
is
point
watching it. Everybody's watching it.
Then I guess they win
Except
either
you.
way. Except me, because I will never watch anything on Amazon.
There you go. There you go. That's my rage.
Okay.
My rage is very similar, Jim. Very similar. If you have a movie that is a spectacle, please release it in the theater first. Why release The Tomorrow War on the small screen when its only hope of being entertaining is to be on a big screen at the cinema? Other examples in this last year and a half are too many to list, but here's a few. Mulan and Love and Monsters would have benefited greatly from delaying their release to be showcased where they were meant to be seen, a movie theater. And how awesome would Zack Snyder's Justice League have been on the big screen?
So good.
Some films had a simultaneous release in cinema and VOD, depending on where you were at. But here in Canada, the only way to see Wonder Woman 1984 and Army of the Dead was on demand. And that was a detriment to both films. Giant blockbuster special effects extravaganzas need to be a wider spread released first and available on demand after its initial theatrical release. That's my rage.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one, brother. It's and there's been some push and talk that we've heard. I think Amazon is kind of the start, but Disney has said the same thing. They're releasing every movie simultaneously now, and through the whatever it's called, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And now that theaters will be back, they'll put it at theaters too, right? But it's kind of like, at least if it's on both, it gives people a choice.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine. But if it's only on demand, then you're robbing people of the experience of seeing a movie.
You know, I think it could cause the death of cinema.
I watch TV at home. I don't watch movies at home. Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's big corporations.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Hi, we are Dads and Lads, the podcast. Join Sean, my 15-year-old son, and myself, Stuart, his outspoken dad. We talk about everything from sport to Sean's learning difficulties or anything that takes our fancy. Mixed with some northern humour and some off-the-cuff remarks, come and give us a listen every Sunday. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts or on Twitter at Dads and Lads Pod. Also, you can join our Facebook group by searching Dads and Lads the Podcast on Facebook. Thank you. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, wow.
Righto.
It's Murman Minute, people.
That's right. Well, this week is so related to what you guys are talking about. I call it Welcome Back to the Cinema. Free at last, free at last. Thank the gods we're free at last. After 7 long months, movie theaters are finally back open for business. And after 16 months of COVID madness, all the restrictions have finally been lifted, at least here in Alberta. Last night, I enjoyed a maskless movie, and it felt great. Now that Hollywood is back to cranking out their mega blockbusters, it's time to take a look at what to look forward to this summer.
Ooh, Murray, thank you. You're making my day.
I could read your mind, Jim. Some will be hits, some will not, but we'll flock to see them all. Starting with this weekend, the big one is Black Widow, which was made 2 years ago. It's a film about Natasha Romanoff and her quest between the film Civil War and Infinity. Because, of course, as you know, she doesn't make it in the end.
She did. She did.
And then next week, we've got, the only one coming out is the new Space Jam, A New Legacy, which is kind of half cartoon, half live action.
You know, we might have to miss that one.
LeBron James this time.
We might have to miss that one in the cinemas.
Yeah. It's got Don Cheadle in it.
The Don is in it?
The Don is in it, and LeBron James, who can't act. Then the week after, we actually got looks like they're actually releasing a lot of stuff all at once here in a couple of weeks. We've got Old, which is the newest M. Night Shyamalan movie, which I keep seeing trailers for.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Family goes on a holiday and they're on a secluded beach, and next thing you know, they're aging like years in one day. I don't know. It seemed weird.
I have a feeling there's going to be a twist at the end.
Maybe. Same weekend, there is Snake Eyes, which is, of course, the G.I. Joe spinoff centered around the character of Snake Eyes, which is my favorite character.
What? Okay, so which G.I. Joe characters did you have as a kid? Like,
I had Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Snake Eyes?
I had Snake Eyes, yeah, and I think I had a couple of bad guys.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I love Snake Eyes. So this will be interesting. And then we also have something called Joe Bell, which is a Mark Wahlberg movie. He stars in it with Connie Britton and Gary Sinise.
There's a hint he's probably going to be shirtless at least one time.
I don't know. Yeah, in this movie, apparently, he's a working class father who embarks on a solo walk across America to crusade against bullying after his son is tormented in high school for being gay.
To find a shirt.
Yeah, to find a shirt at some point. And we got one. This is a doozy. Midnight in the Switchgrass. It stars the ever popular Megan Fox and Bruce Willis.
Oh,
it's an FBI agent and a Florida state officer team up to investigate a string of unsolved murder cases.
Just watch the Megan Fox movie. It was pretty good.
Well, maybe
Till death.
Maybe stop insulting her director's movie. Should be all right. All right, then at the end of the month, we've got the big Disney one, Jungle Cruise. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt, Edgar Ramirez, and Jesse Plemons. Of course, is based on a theme park ride. This riverboat goes through a jungle. Dangerous animals and reptiles. Sounds like a doozy.
You know what? You don't get. What is happening in this world that we get a movie based on a fucking Disney ride?
You mean like
what is
Pirates
happening?
of the Caribbean, you mean? I mean, well, like 5 of those. That was based on a theme park. Anyway, then we have The Green Knight, which I knew nothing about. It's a fantasy retelling of the medieval story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I don't know if he was one of the King Arthurs or not. Actually, it actually stars Dev Patel and Alicia Vikander. So interesting casting there.
Well, we'll be seeing that for sure.
And then also the end of the month is one called Ride the Eagle with J.K. Simmons and Susan Sarandon. This guy is left with the inheritance when his mother dies. Before he can actually move into her house, he has to complete her basically bucket list, I guess.
So it's Bucket List 2 with J.K. Simmons and
I guess so. I know Susan Sarandon is the one that dies at the end.
Another sequel.
Then, of course, in August, we got the new Suicide Squad with Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, and Taika Waititi is in it. I don't know what character he plays, but maybe the shark. But
there's high risk for Taika Waititi.
There is. Well, he's got 2 back-to-back, so I have a feeling he's not going to stay on the list very long. Because a week after that is the one I'm looking forward to. Yes, August 13, Free Guy.
Free Guy.
Ryan Reynolds.
Free Guy's going to bounce him.
I don't really care. He's still on my list forever and ever.
He's not far on the directing list either.
Directing, he's going to be fine. Acting, if he takes...
Whatever,
who knows? Free Guy might be wonderful.
He's not an actor, but whatever.
He's pretty awesome.
There's also, the biopic of Aretha Franklin, Respect, coming out the same weekend as Free Guy. For Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, Audra McDonald.
Your paper's picking up in the mic, Merman.
Too damn bad. And then towards the end of August, we've got Reminiscence, which I saw a trailer for, with Hugh Jackman, Tandy Newton, and Rebecca Ferguson. Looks like kind of a Total Recall kind of a thing. The scientist discovers a way to relive your past and use technology to search for his long-lost love. A lot of technology and stuff, so yeah, it looks like Total Recall type deal. Then there's an interesting one. We have The Protege. It's actually got Samuel L. Jackson once again playing a legendary assassin. And Maggie Q is the one that he trained, and basically he dies. And then she basically vows revenge.
Oh yeah, we saw
the rest of the movie.
We saw the
and
for this.
Michael Keaton plays the bad guy, so that could be interesting. Robert Patrick's in it too. And then the end of summer, we got The Candyman, which is a spiritual sequel to the horror film from 1992. Sorry, people. It says it's a sequel. It says and there's no idea who any of these people are there in it. just a bunch of names I've never heard of.
Randos.
Random, like new up and comings. Then, of course, to close out our summer in September, we've got a couple of Marvel movies: Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which Woody Harrelson is playing Carnage. So that rounds out our summer, and then it'll be time for the film festivals.
Nice.
Yeah, so go out and enjoy some films. Don't be stuck in the house. That's all I got.
Space Jam 2.
Legacy.
Okay. I don't have anything for the list. Does anybody have anything this week?
Nope.
Well, breaking news in Yuma County. I think I was hoping you're going to have a different opinion of Allison Janney's performance, because I think everybody in that movie, if we had a mesmerized off, bounces her right out off the list.
Nope, not for me. I thought she did an amazing job being
You're saying Clifton Collins Jr., if you put them head to head in that, she's better?
Yeah, I do. I think I thought she was great.
And I guess Wanda Sykes isn't on it because Murray's going to kibosh it. But
well, okay, and this is what I actually have something to say about that.
Okay.
Did I ever once say I didn't like her? I actually love Wanda Sykes. When did I say that?
We tried to get her on the list, and you kiboshed her.
For what movie?
For
Mesmerizing.
I happen to love her. I don't remember saying it. I never happened to say.
Okay, well, I nominate Wanda Sykes, and apparently she's going to be right off the list because she's not better than Allison Janney. Go, Jim, make the argument.
No, she could be, because if you think she was more mesmerizing, then again we have a disagreement. No one comes off. We
do have a disagreement. I also think Awkwafina.
Yeah, I think she's
mesmerizing.
Yep, I would agree.
I didn't know who that is, so you guys go ahead.
There you go. And once again, I think she was better in this movie than Allison Janney.
I disagree with you.
All right, so apparently we're just having a mesmerized list that just doesn't stop. So that means everybody I just said is on the mesmerized list. Yes? No?
I'm not having any problems with any of it.
And because you thought Allison Janney was better than all of them?
Yes.
Everybody's safe.
Apparently they are.
This
they
is
have to be in another
dumbest
movie.
segment we've ever had. All right.
Well, no, not really, because we now know that Wanda Sykes is mesmerizing, and we know Awkwafina is mesmerizing.
What about Clifton Collins Jr.? Are you
right. Yeah, no
idea who that is.
Not in my life.
Yeah, he's so good. Like, he's literally best supporting actor of every movie he's in. And he's never the lead actor in any
Why
movie.
is he never in more stuff?
I don't know. Like, every time I see him, he's just fantastic.
Okay, so go do the research, because you didn't rage off of Yuba counting. You gave it a med, didn't you?
I did, and I did the research because I'm like, everybody in this movie has the potential to be on the undoubted list, and everybody has a stinker involved where it's
everybody's got a stinker.
They just can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, Wanda doesn't make that many good movies either, but I mean, she's still mesmerizing.
Yeah, you can't stop till you get enough. Come on. I want to put forward, now that I'm thinking about it, someone for the doubted.
Okay.
Now, and I'm putting forward Bruce Willis. Because if you go through his stuff, it's terrible.
Well, let's do it.
I just watched Hudson Hawk. That was awesome.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the last. Okay,
no,
so
it was terrible.
Hawk is so bad.
Well, it was terrible. It was terrible.
By awesome,
except for the 5 minutes he's singing, the rest of it is bad.
Okay, so Bryce, write these down, because I don't think we've seen a lot of these. Because guess what?
Good. We get to watch Bruce Willis movies.
It's awesome. Going to be a Bruce Willis off here.
Yeah, okay, but didn't Murray just say she's going to be with in something with Megan Fox here coming up?
Yeah, he's going to be up this summer with something.
Well, that's going to be Mondo.
You think so?
No, I don't. I don't think it's all. Well, okay. Well,
anyway, so this will be temporary till that one comes out. But go ahead.
So there's a movie. I guess it's coming out now, or it's out. It's called Cosmic Sin from 2021, and it's not the Megan Fox one.
Sounds like a streaming one.
Cosmic Sin. And then which I haven't seen, but IMDb has it as 2.5. And then from 2020, we have Breach, which I also haven't seen.
I have seen Breach.
And it has a 3 on IMDb, but I'm not sure. Do you remember raging on
it? 3 is very generous. Breach is bad. It is
okay. And then there's a movie called Hard Kill, which is a huge rage.
That is a rage.
Yes. And then there's Survive the Night, which was also a rage.
That is a rage.
Okay. And then he was in a movie called Trauma Center.
That was meh.
Yeah, I would agree with you, actually. That was meh. Then he was in a movie called 10 Minutes Gone, which was a rage.
I don't know that one, but I'll take your word for it if I don't have to watch it.
Yep. Okay. And then there was this one. I don't think counts as it because it's really not really a movie. It's Between Two Ferns, that comedy sketch thing with what's his face?
Zach Galifianakis.
Yes. And then he was in a movie called Motherless Brooklyn, which for me was a meh. Was it a Mondo?
That was the Ed Norton Jr. one, right? That he directed.
Yes. Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, it was a meh.
Okay, so how many is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're not counting Between Two Ferns, it's 7.
Okay, so then oh no, he may not make it. We have to wait till the Megan Fox comes out because he was in Glass, which for me was a meh. So that's a double meh, so it gets him off. So we have to now wait until we have to see
the Megan Fox movie, which is going to be Mondo. He'll have to start over.
There we go. Okay.
I just watched the Megan Fox movie, Till Death. I think I've said it already. I'm going to say it again. Till Death's good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm trying to decide whether it's Mondo or not. I wasn't really thinking along those lines because we weren't, reviewing it for the podcast. But yeah, Till Death's good. Another movie that's good, I don't know why I'm bringing this up in this segment, is that new Benicio del Toro and...
yes, it's good. I saw it too.
What the heck's it called?
I don't know. We'll look it up later.
We should have done that for the podcast because that was really good. That might have been Mondo.
Well, you suggested the Tomorrow War.
Yeah, because we had to. I didn't suggest it. It was forced upon me.
We get to choose what we
can choose what we watch.
That was
Canada, damn it.
We can't ignore the #1 streaming movie in the entire world.
Watch me.
Murray just did it right there. The movie that is No Sudden Move.
No Sudden Move. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro. Who else in it? Oh, it's just left me for some reason. I'm drawing a blank.
Who else is in that particular? Don Cheadle's in it.
Don Cheadle's in it, and someone else. Ray Liotta's in it, and it just goes on and on. There's like
Traffic too.
And I think Megan Fox's sister, Julia Fox.
Sure.
So that movie was good.
It was good.
Right.
Anyways, I'm getting off topic.
You did.
I don't even know how I'm gonna arrange that. All right, let's move on.
All righty. Last week on Rage or Dare, Jim pulled from Bryce's recently refilled bag of torture. This week, Jim and Bryce get to again go back to take a giant scoop of rage from my delicious bucket of rage.
It's not just bucket of rage.
It's a bucket of rage.
Creamy
bucket of rage. Let's check in with Jim and see if Bryce continues to deliver the same level of rage, or is his bag not as stinky as rumors say it is?
Okay, so what
did you watch?
I got to see the fabulous Lindsay Lohan movie, Just My Luck.
That's the movie.
With Chris Pine.
Just My Luck. I got to watch Just My Luck. So
you are welcome.
You can kind of see, after watching this movie, how Lindsay Lohan became a really big star. She does carry a scene very, very well as an adult. I don't know as a kid, but as an adult, she's a pretty good actress. The dialogue and setup for this film were all done fairly well for what this film was and who it was made for. That being said, the story is just like every other contrived cookie-cutter love story, flip-flop fantasy film with Lindsay Lohan in it. The plot is very much living in a magical, whimsical world where Lindsay's character has nothing but good luck, and apparently Chris Pine's character has nothing but bad luck, including get arrested, picking up $5 bills covered in shit. Plus, the music in this movie was awful through the entire film, aside from one song that appeared by the fabulous band The Eels. The acting was all pretty much okay. The script, although contrived and predictable, wasn't terrible considering the genre. Don't get me wrong, I pretty much hated everything about this film, but not because it wasn't well done for the type of mindless teen heartthrob type post-tween schlock film. No, wait, that is why I hated it. But for that type of film, it wasn't awful. I'm guessing for people who like that type of film, they probably would have really liked this. As far as the script, I mean, you're getting a schlock film that is a love story, which I don't like those stories. But compared to a lot of the other shitty love stories that Bryce makes me watch, I thought the script was actually pretty well written. There was some pretty clever writing that happened, and it kind of surprised me. It was cute seeing Chris Pine so young and all teen beady-esque, as I kind of wish Lohan didn't get on. And I kind of wish that, like, you think of Lindsay Lohan, I kind of wish she didn't get on drugs and her career was able to move forward.
She had potential.
She did.
I know.
She really did.
She's a
she
good
could sing
actor.
too. She was actually a really good singer too.
She's talented.
Okay.
And
Well,
maybe
I like her songs.
she and Chris Pine could have both been in Star Trek films.
There you go.
Because I do think she's pretty talented. So to summarize, music was awful, except for the Eels. Story was schlocky tween bait. Acting was okay. Timing and pacing was okay. Again, for its genre, Chris Pine and Lindsay Lohan were adorable, which was cute, but also annoying at the same time. Nothing was believable, and it was some kind of Freaky Friday swap thing, but instead of bodies, it was luck. So Bryce nailed it as far as picking the right genre of this type of movie. It usually puts my rage phasers fully engaged. Notice how I did that just for Chris? Tee-hee. I was in a rage, but not as painful as I thought it would be. If you like cute Freaky Friday type movies, you might like this. But unless you're swapping serial killers with teenage girls, it ain't gonna be that great. Yep, it's a rage. But Lindsay Lohan, please come back and make more movies, and perhaps make them with Robert Downey Jr., because you both have things in common.
Well, it's disappointing. I was hoping you're going to hate it more.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I was going to hate it more too. And as I'm watching it, I'm going like, okay, it's kind of annoying.
It's still a rage, but it's not a...
Yeah, it wasn't wanting to peel my eyes off one layer at a time. And I wasn't needing to plug my ears that much. The script was actually pretty well done for what it was. All right. Murray is daring us with his bag.
Bucket of rage.
Something that I'm sure Bryce is going to love.
Yes,
sure
absolutely. It's kind of...
Nope,
yeah,
it's all blurry.
Your screen is all...
Just read
it's The Bench Warmers.
The Bench Warmers.
Yep.
Yes. And I happen to own a copy of it if you can't find it.
Oh.
I bought it for $1.
I think, isn't that a David Spade movie?
Maybe in it, but it's it's one of those other guys, but it's about football. It's a sports movie, and it looks like it's pretty bad.
Well, you mean you own it, and
I haven't watched it.
So
no, I bought it in the dollar bin.
Maybe this movie will get David Spade off our doubted list.
Is he in it? Is this confirmed?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he's on their doubted list.
He may be part of the cast.
No,
maybe.
Is he part of this cast? It's a movie about football.
He's definitely in it. It's got all of the classic that you know is going to be good. It's got David Spade. It's got John Heater. It's got Rob Schneider. It's got John Lovitz.
That's right, John Schneider. That's what I was thinking.
And it's got Tim Meadows, but it's got Nick Swartzen, who's awesome.
And the main guy is
I'm looking forward to this. This will be funny.
This could be
the
best.
Yeah, if you can't find it, I have a copy of it.
All right. We'll
let you know. Drop it off for you.
We will let you know.
Looks like an SNL type deal because a lot of the guys from SNL are in it.
Well, Thanks again, Ragers, for listening. Rage love to Julene from It Goes Down in the PM podcast, as well as James, our 2 member subscribers. Thanks to our extended Film Rage crew of Leonard Conlon for vision photography via Leonard Conlon Photography, for Bex Goose for her cartooning skills at Potato Lady podcastreviews.com. Thanks to our sponsor, Canyon Meadows Cinema. Please go out and support your local independent cinemas near you as they desperately need your help as we come out of this pandemic. Find us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site from Redbubble and TeePublic. And there's a sale going on right now. See what we look like on our YouTube channel by searching Film Rage Podcast. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners. So please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to feel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. Please, please. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.